All right, MAGFest. How we doing tonight? Saturday night. All right. Welcome. Thank you for showing up. I don't know if the Proto Men are playing right now, but thank you so much for actually attending my panel. I give my gratitude to you before it even begins. Welcome to Exploring Caesar's Palace, a look at gambling in video games. I will say this is an all ages panel. I am going to keep it at least PG, but do know that the topics I am going to be covering are topics that you can only partake in if you are over the age of 21. And I'm just saying this precautiously. If you or you know someone who has a gambling problem, there are resources. You've probably seen this number before. It is 1-800-GAMBLER. That is also 1-800-522-4700. If you need any resources, do know that they exist. All right. So let me introduce myself. My name is Nick. Online, I go by the alias Workman125. You can find me on Blue Sky at Workman125. I do have a Twitter. I do not use it. I also have a YouTube, but it's not relevant. And other than that, I guess I'll jump right into it. So, I'm not paid for or sponsored or endorsed by Caesar's Palace, but I'll explain why I thought this would be such an interesting panel to share with all of you, because I don't gamble. I am not a gambler. I have never once stepped foot in a casino and gambled money. I do have blackjack on my phone that I play sometimes that uses fake money, but I have never not once gambled. But what I have done and what I grew up with was playing card games. See, when I was a little lad, I would go over to my grandparents' house, and one of the only things they had on their gateway big desktop computer was this game, Hoyle Card Games, which came with all these great card games. And since I really had nothing better to do, I was just, a 7-year-old kid. I would go on to the computer whenever it get boring and play these games. And it definitely has that 90s era of CD-ROM game with the music. And what's pictured on there right now is their version of War, which was the only one I was good at with Go Fish. And that particular character right there, he has a sock puppet that would speak for him. If you lost, he would taunt you. If you won, he'd be like, oh, shucks, the puppet would. And this was like kind of the fun thing of why I had fun with it with the card games. So that's where I kind of got introduced to card games. This game came with poker, Go Fish, War, Spades, Old Maid. So I did get a taste for these games when I was a kid. Also, my mom liked to play card games too. So, you might be wondering why I chose Caesar's Palace to talk about. Well, there's a con that occurs every June in the Philadelphia Expo Center called Too Many Games. Has anyone been to Too Many Games? Nice. I've been there. My wife sells there all the time. And it's basically my second favorite con. My first favorite con is MAGFest. Yeah. But since we're local to the Philly area, we do go there a lot. I like to go there, and I like to play games, and I like to buy games. And I've noticed, since I've been going for so long, that one of the games that kept coming up in the bins that I always see, and it was always really cheap, was Caesar's Palace for the Genesis. I'm like, why do I keep seeing this all the time? And then one day I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to buy it. It's so cheap, I might as well. And that was like $5. And eventually I just kept seeing them, and I was just like, yeah, I'll get that one. And then eventually got the complete in-box Genesis version of Caesar's Palace, which we'll get to. But the game I'm going to focus on right now is Super Caesar's Palace for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, which that's the only game from the SNES I own complete in box with the manual, with it still in the wrapper. And it's just funny to me that I could have chose any other game to have, like Mario World, Mario RPG. No, I chose Super Caesar's Palace, 1991. So, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. I wanted to kind of explore this and show you what type of game Super Caesar's Palace is, because I think this is a game where the genre doesn't necessarily exist as we know it today, but it kind of evolved into something that we'll be talking about a little bit later. So right here is the cover. You can also see the cover right here. This lady is not in the game, and I guess they got it off Shutterstock, whatever, from the 90s, but she's not there. It does use the Super NES mouse, so when you're done doing Mario Paint, you could do this. It's rated, I think it's rated E for everyone. So when you boot up the game, this is the first thing that you'll see is this gray block of a building, which is, of course, Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, Nevada. So and this is the setting of the game. This is where you'll be spending a majority of your money in the game, too. And what's interesting is that this is you. You are the main protagonist of Super Caesar's Palace, because this is a immersive walk around the casino game. It's even advertised on the box. When they put this in stores originally, they advertised that you can explore this casino and surround yourself with gaming action and interact with different personalities as you stroll around the casino, which we will get to. They start you off right at the slots, which they probably want you to do first. $5 slots. It's very bare bones. You put your money in, and then the slots go, and then you lose it. It's pretty interesting because you actually start with $2,000, but the objective of the game is to just win. You just have to keep winning. And if you lose all your money, you have to go to the ATM and get out more. But the main objective of this game is to win. You are this nameless, faceless protagonist in a business suit walking around Casino's Palace. There's also, interestingly, scratch cards. You could purchase scratchers in the game, a game from 1991 for kids. It's interesting. And this is also you're basically master hand going around and scratching off, $2 scratchers. It's not the best way to win money in this game because there's also a few other games like video poker. You could also play Keno. There's also horse racing, which it's incredible because you actually sign up you bet on a horse, and they all have silly names, and then you'll keep playing games, and then you'll come back to the horse racing stand, and it'll just be like, your horse lost. Oops. Oh, well. So I would love to know how that was programmed. I have no idea how. I also think it's interesting that in a video game, you can play a video game inside a video game with video poker, which is interesting because it's just kind of like you're a video game character playing a video game in a video game, but let's not think about it too much. Another thing you can do in the game is roulette. If you're not familiar with roulette, you have a wheel, it spins around, and you have a table that has all the numbers on the roulette wheel, including either betting on whether it'll land on an even or odd. You can put it on red or black. And what's interesting is that for a SNES game from 1991, this animation will play. It's a fully rendered 3D animation. I didn't have video footage of it, but it will spin around. It's pretty smooth. It's pretty impressive. And then whatever you bet on, you'll see the money either go up or down. But this is pretty technically impressive, having that fully 3D rendered graphics on a pretty early game. Now this is one of the main reasons I did actually buy Super Caesar's Palace, was to play blackjack. I do enjoy playing blackjack. I have never once bet or played an actual game of blackjack, but I do just like playing it for fun. I've also tried memorizing basic strategy, which, if you don't know what that is, it's just basically like a card of a matrix of numbers where you have a better probability of winning or not, but that's besides the point. But I actually like just playing blackjack for fun. And as you can see, when you're on the bottom floor, yes, there's a bottom floor, and on the Genesis one, it advertised you can take an escalator up to the top floor, which is where all the higher betting tables are. So once you actually start accumulating money, then the NPCs will start encouraging you, and there are NPCs, we'll get to it, to start going upstairs to the real high roller tables. I spent a lot of hours on this one just playing it, but you're kind of like just playing a game of like, I won my money, oh, I lost my money now, but I'm gonna get it back. And it's all fake currency, of course, right? So it's all fun and games, and if you do lose enough, you just go back to the ATM and get more. What's interesting, and I think this is super interesting about this game, is that as you walk around, there are NPCs that you can interact with who will give you, and they're mostly for giving tips or telling you how to play these games. And I think they're just kind of like pictures of the developers that just put themselves in the game for fun. So if you wanted to really learn how to play blackjack, you can talk to her. I also like this dialogue interaction of when she's done telling you, you only have one option, and it's precisely the type of like, I'm trying to get out of this conversation thing, talking to you about blackjack. Which is I think that's pretty cool though, because for a game for 1991 that has to do with you being a fully grown adult walking around a casino, that they put in the time to make this an interactable thing instead of just a menu that you interact with and then you read it and then you're done with it. And that's the game. It really is just kind of like a casino simulator, kind of like when I was playing the Hoyle games. It literally is just a simulation of casino. So when you walk in, and from that entrance you walk back out, and the security guard will stop you, and they'll say, "You're leaving Caesar's Palace so soon?" And then you could go, "Oh, I'm not ready yet. Actually, you know what? You're right, officer. I'm going back in there and spending more money." Or you go, "No, it's time to head out." He will then say, "Here's your password, so you can come back and try and do things again." Because this, I believe, I'm not too sure if it uses the battery memory from the SNES cartridges, but since you have to input a password, I think it just remembers how much you won instead of just having a save. So once you leave, it plays a little cutscene of you driving through the desert, and you pass a sign that says "Now leaving Las Vegas," and the credits roll. I think it's interesting that one of the executive musicians was an individual named Tommy Tallarico, if you're familiar with him. I bet his mother's very proud of him for being on this one. And that's the game. It's super simple. Like, I know why this game costs so little money. In fact, this copy I bought at a Second Charles for $4. I don't know when, but I'm keeping the price tag on here. So Super Caesar's Palace was released on the SNES in 1991. Caesar's Palace, which is the Genesis port, was released around the same time. It's not called Super Caesar's Palace, just regular Caesar's Palace. But there is also the Game Gear version, which I do not have, and I am trying to get it. But I don't want to buy it online because I feel like that's a little sad. So I'm just going to try and find it organically. Maybe someday it'll come to me. I also don't have a Game Gear, so I'm going to have to get the Game Gear too. But I was looking for that too. And like I said, I was walking through the marketplace and I saw one copy of Caesar's Palace for the Genesis. So like I said, it's easy to find. I bet it's still there. I bet the guy who's selling it has had it for years. So surprisingly, Caesar's Palace was not the only gambling video game on the market around this time. At least in the late 80s, there are a few seedy, computer gambling type games, but on the SNES at least, there was also Vegas Stakes, which is a marginally way better game from everything I've seen. I don't have it, but I've seen people play it and it looks way better. There's also Golden Nugget 64, which same thing, it's pretty flat and uses kind of the same mechanics. It was just developed by different people. Because Caesar's Palace was developed by Virgin back when they were still making games, and Majesco. But, these types of games aren't really made anymore. But we're going out of the 90s and now we're going into the 2000s. So as we approach the 21st century, now we can play with 3D graphics. And this is where I found, there it is, on the PlayStation, Caesar's Palace 2000, which is the official follow-up to Super Caesar's Palace that came out late 1999 into 2000, rated for everyone. But this time, instead of walking around a casino, you're actually playing within a 3D space, but you can't actually walk around. It's actually a little disappointing that they didn't bring back that walk-around mechanic, but all the games are updated for basically existing in 3D. It doesn't really add anything to it. It is still, quite honestly, the same game. It's the same games, at least. So it's funny. I do want the Sega Dreamcast version only because I love the Dreamcast. I don't have the Dreamcast. I wish I did. I used to play a lot in college because my roommate had it, but I don't own one. I think it would be fun to have. But yeah, it's basically the same type of gameplay with roulette, blackjack, slots, and playing slots on these games is no fun. I couldn't imagine deriving anything from actually playing real slots anyway. All right, so now we're kind of into the 2000s. And Golden Nugget was still releasing games for the Game Boy Advance and the DS around the midway point of the 2000s. Golden Nugget for the GBA and Golden Nugget Casino DS. Same thing. Quite literally, you're just playing games. It's the same thing. What's interesting is that for the PlayStation 2, earlier in the decade, Hard Rock Casino came out, which is the only hard rock related game I believe there is. And that's it. That's all they did was the same play card games and bet fake money and hope you win. Oh, wait. Oh, I ruined it. But a little known game, maybe you've heard of it, around this time came out for the Nintendo DS called Super Mario 64 DS, which I played a lot. I played a lot of Super Mario 64, and I played a lot of Super Mario 64 DS when that came out too. And one of the mini games that you can play when you unlock them all is Luigi's Casino. And I would hazard a guess that this is probably the first time a lot of kids my age around that time also were playing these casino type games. It's not as crazy realistic as these. Obviously, there's a poker-like in the Mario 64 DS, and there's a roulette board. But there's also a game of memory. But you still have that star that says bet, which I think is funny. And what's interesting is that there's also a toad, if you remember, in the background walking around with drinks in a tray. just handing them out to you just to help you out with your betting. There's also slots in the background, and or maybe that's video poker. I'm not too sure, but this game is never, well, actually, yeah, it says slots up there. There's no slot machine minigame in Mario 64 DS. Maybe that's for the better. But I also like the implication that Luigi is the dealer, and maybe this is his casino. So, you know, he's laughing all the way to the bank with this one. He's really got you guys back in the day. But I think it's funny that this would kind of be maybe the only time I think Nintendo, as the first party, released a casino game like this. And they haven't really done anything since. And maybe that's for the better. And okay, so now we're done with that. We're going into the 2010s. Now here's something a little interesting. I can't really find any casino games that released in this decade. We're kind of at the part where like I said, the Golden Nugget DS, which came out in 2004, I believe, was kind of that last foray into these casino type games where you play card games for fake money, and this is definitely where I can say this type of game fell out of style. But something else did happen around this era of gaming, which I think might have something to do with a little bit of gambling, and that's the implementation of loot boxes. And loot boxes, if you don't know, is making it so you can pull random cosmetic upgrades or power-ups in a multitude of games. Like I know Fortnite uses it, Overwatch uses it, CSGO, and it's become very prevalent in video gaming now. Now, here's the thing. I think obviously this isn't necessarily gambling, of course, but I do think it's interesting how video games around this time started implementing features that do feel kind of like gambling for here, and definitely we'll go into it more, but this is where we're getting to more today. And from here, I think things take a little bit of a turn. So it's not gonna be a little pretty right now. And sorry, I'm not trying to bore you or nothing, but this is a little bit of a tangent, but in 2018, Murphy versus NCAA was decided in the Supreme Court to overturn a former law called PASPA, which, for those who don't know, PASPA made it illegal for states to sponsor, operate, advertise, promote, license, or authorize by law or compact, blah, 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 lottery, sweepstakes, other betting. Basically, it said states cannot endorse or engage with sports betting. And they, in 2018, the Supreme Court overturned it. So they, and I believe it was New Jersey, the NCAA's favor. So here's the thing. Now it is left up to the states. So states can now decide if they want sports betting to be legal. Where I live in Delaware, it is legal. And where I work in Pennsylvania, it's legal. And for the most part, the northeastern United States, it's legal. I know in places like California, Texas, it is illegal still. So if you're from there, you might not know it, but I know around here, we get a lot of like advertisements. There's a lot of advertisements for sports betting apps. And this is where I am kind of going on a tangent, because my whole thing is that, these have become very prevalent in our society. So you've probably heard these. They go crazy on the advertisements. FanDuel, what is it? BetMGM, DraftKings, Fanatics. And wait a minute. What's that on the bottom left? Wait. What? Caesar's Palace Sportsbook? Oh no. All right, so I think we might have actually reached a full circle moment where now, instead of walking into a fake casino on the SNES, now you can download a Caesar's Palace Sportsbook and bet real money on sports. And for all intents and purposes, FanDuel is a portal to hell. And I'm going on this tangent because, like I said, if I go back to loot crates in a way, it started out maybe innocently enough, but now there's economies of loot crates almost. I know there was a story about like a Roblox casino where kids would be betting on loot box drops, and there was a scandal with CS:GO with their loot crate system and such. So it is kind of interesting that video games have picked up more they develop more of an element to this gambling mentality, and that they want you to kind of, see if you can play the odds, right? And I know for a fact, the example was Cookie Run, which I've never played, but gotcha games, Cookie Run, they're also on your phone, and they also implement kind of that same style of not betting. Of course, it's not betting. It's definitely different, but it's like it rhymes. It rhymes with betting. So it's interesting. I don't know. Is anyone here from California or Texas or any of the states where it's banned still? Do you see a lot of advertisements? Oh, okay. I don't know if she sees a lot of advertisements, but I swear we are inundated with that stuff now. It's almost like everywhere. I think what happened was over the pandemic, a lot of people were bored and just started downloading these, and now they're really making a lot of money. So at least these companies are. So that's why I really wanted to stress this. I know this started out as a really funny haha panel, but I do want to stress this. So I want to think to the future of what loot crates could possibly look like, because I know I've heard and read so many stories of kids who will just rack up a parent's credit card pulling loot crates and stuff. So I wonder if things might get more interesting as the years go on because of this. So I think it's interesting that we started, obviously these are not video games, but those sports betting apps aren't video games, but they're on your phone, and you might be playing video games on your phone, or you might be looking at an element of a video game that's very similar to it. So I was just taking a look at that. So once again, I wanted to stress this. There are resources if you or someone you know has an issue. There are resources for people who have gambling problems. It's up there if you need it. I'm looking at the time. I don't really have much else to talk about right now. And I usually like to leave a few moments for people to ask questions or have comments. So if anyone wants to, yeah, what's up?
There's a couple of, you were saying that there's nothing really in the 2010s, but I was going to say,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Poker Night at the Inventory, Pokemon had gambling in it for a long time.
Oh. Yeah, I don't play Pokemon. I guess that's it. So interesting that. What was that like an actual kind of like a mechanic like this where it'd be like fake money?
So you use your real money to get coins, and then you gamble the coins, and there's slots.
Real Pokemon money, not US dollars.
Okay, yeah, I was talking about. I was talking real money. It's the fake in-game currency. Yeah.
Sapphire, they had
Huh.
whole thing of slots that had
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't play Pokemon, so I wouldn't know that. So yeah, that's interesting though, and that's for the DS, right?
So for the Game Boy and for the DS2, there was a game
Oh.
slots.
Interesting. There we go. So there's Nintendo doing it again. The Luigi's Casino. Yes.
And released in 2010 was followed in Vegas with a pretty
Oh, yeah.
very good.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Okay. Yeah. That's the interesting thing of you have great games that have these features in them instead of like the standalone games where it's like I couldn't imagine just playing the casino games without Fallout attached to it, you know what I mean? Way in the back. Yellow shirt. You, yes.
I want to give an example that the Super Mario RPG in 95, 96
Uh-huh.
that had a casino with
Yes.
blackjack and roulette.
Yeah.
This was probably because this came out again and it released for the Switch recently and they had to recode it due to EU laws.
Wow.
And gambling in the game.
Really?
Yes, so there's like it's just memory, got rid of a lot of the gambling.
Wow.
And then
Okay.
I think the EU laws are why a lot of these
Yes.
go away, and
Yep.
they're currently going after the loot boxes as a thing now.
I actually heard that they're really trying to tackle that. So interesting. I actually did not know that. Oh yes, I saw you.
Yeah, I remember in Mario 3, at the end of every other level, you would get the slot machine.
The slots, yeah, right.
And it's just like a pure slot machine. There's no winning.
Yeah, I remember that one too. Yeah, cool. I like. Can we think of any more? Yes.
Final Fantasy 14 has a whole casino.
Ooh.
It's called the Golden Saucer.
Huh.
And there's not like traditional slots or anything. It's all like in-universe vibe of like goofy little on-theme things, but like you can spend money like in-game currency.
Yeah.
And I think you can purchase in-game currency with IRL currency. I don't think you can actually buy currency for 14. You can buy
Yeah.
a lot of things for it, like with real money, like extra stuff.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you can buy gil, but like there is an entire area, and people are really into role play. Some people are really into
Yeah.
role play within 14. So like,
Okay. And that's all fine and good. I feel like if you have a fake casino with fake money, I'm like that's fantastic. I think that's actually pretty cool. Yes, I saw your hand. The red wrist.
Oh, yeah, so I was just thinking recently, Clubhouse Games 51 came out for the Switch, and it does have like
Huh.
Hold'em and like 21 and some other card games.
See, okay, yeah. I guess I was, yeah. That's actually more of what I was thinking of like standalone casino game, yeah. So, good one. The gentleman behind you. Uh huh.
Interesting they did to kind of skirt the kind of game chances. Every game you play guarantees a win. It's just magnitudes. So if
Oh.
you get the bottom jackpot on the daily jackpot, it's like 2 coins plus 2 coins and the stuff I need.
Yeah. Oh yeah. See.
they do also separate. There's a different currency for Golden Saucer thing. It's like Manderville points versus like the normal gil. But like triple triad, that's gil, right?
Yeah.
So there's like
No, I think some people try to sell this saucer.
I don't know, it's been too long. But like it's a separate currency, but you can buy separate stupid stuff.
All right.
And it's always a gain. It's just, the games that you're not actually winning are so slow.
Yeah.
Not,
And it's not even like the buy-in. You don't get your buy-in back, so you are
Oh.
paying coins
Okay.
if you lose, but you still get something. You get a fix.
So I should have looked into the role-playing games to see the casino. Yeah, you know what? Maybe that'll be next year. All right. What was I about to say? Dang. I was about to say something. Oh, it's like round one, right? Where it's like, I love round one. I will say this. I have never gambled, but I sure have dropped a couple hundred on round one. Which, what's the difference? But anyone else? Yes, I saw your hand.
Speaking of RPGs, Witcher 3 does have their in-game card game, which you can't bet money on.
Oh, cool. See, and that's great. That's fantastic, right? Of just have the fake games. All right, yeah. But I guess it's funny that it is actually interesting too that mechanics like this the games that are here do actually appear in more modern games, but it's not like Caesar's Palace is doing it anymore. I don't think they could actually release another video game anymore. Maybe MGM down the street. Yes, I saw your hand.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm an indie game developer, and we want to make a social casino game. And like,
Oh,
I
yeah?
know everything about Super Caesars Casino. That's exactly what we're trying to do.
Wow.
with us.
Okay.
I wanted to ask your opinion because our main competitor, who we like kind of compare ourselves to, is there's a game on Steam called Four Kings Casino.
Huh.
And Four Kings Casino has gotten away with it since I think 2015 because you can buy chips with real money. There's no cash out option.
Oh,
And it's
what?
crazy because it's actually on. You can get it on the Nintendo store. It's on the PlayStation 5. It's on all the consoles.
Okay.
I was wondering what your thoughts were because this is a huge problem that
It-
we're dealing with. Is people wanting to be predatory.
Oh, yes. Is that just their way of saying, well, you're not betting? If you just don't win, yeah.
Buy like $120 of big chips.
That's incredible. Someone will buy it. I do unfortunately prescribe to someone will buy that. So yeah, I do think but like I said, I think the most important thing is knowledge, is knowing that, most of the time you play a video game and you're just having fun with goofs and laughs. But sometimes there are some video games where the loot boxes might be a little addictive. Like gambling is an addiction, much like drinking is an addiction or smoking is an addiction. It's chasing that high, that euphoria that a lot of people get when you win that big payout. So, and I think my general thesis with this this panel, that when we go all the way back, my whole thing was that I wanted to talk about this game in the realm of knowledge. That we are now at a point in time where video games, you can actually do the things in this game with real money. And it's important to know that it could become predatory. So I'm glad, it's really good that you're at least mindful that you're not trying to be predatory. Like the other, I guess I wouldn't say the other game is predatory, but that's kind of interesting that you can just buy chips and then do nothing with it. I will also say if it's being advertised to kids, no. I don't like that. And I guess I forgot, well, I guess it doesn't count, but I love Blatro. I love that game, which is I guess the most successful card game that came out within the past few years. But obviously it just kind of uses the casino aesthetic, like the background's green and it uses cards, but it's definitely not the same. But I love that game. I think I saw someone's hand up.
I was about to say, I have noticed an uptick in the amount of gambling life.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Stuff like buckshot roulette.
What is that? What's buckshot roulette? See, maybe I should have looked it up. That's interesting.
Yeah, so it's just
It's roulette.
like you were saying, not with a shot. Like you were saying, it's kind of gone full circle. Where it's just you've taken the ideas from blackjack or whatever,
Yeah.
twisted them into something kind of new.
Yeah. And it's just remember with these gambling games, I'm gonna keep pointing this. The house always wins. If you start winning at the casino, they just kick you out for real. So the house always wins. Even if it's on your phone, the phone always wins. And I think that's once again just what I wanted to focus on. So I'll keep this up. Let me check the time. Yeah, we still got time. Anyone else have any comments they like to make? Yes.
Semi-related, but
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of gambling as an industry because if you really think about it,
Mm-hmm.
the whole business model of DraftKings, FanDuel, et cetera, is to get you addicted and ruin you financially. Because if you win too much, they suspend your account.
Yes. If you start winning, they will just ban you. If you do defeat the odds, which will happen, it does happen on a Friday on the 13th during a blue moon when the planets all align. You will win, and they will just kick you because that's what they do. That's what their business model is. Yes, a blue sweater. Yes. This is always what you must have an edge because you will just keep winning. Sometimes when if you are a competent player, as in if you're playing blackjack, sometimes they'll give you the easiest hand of all time, 2 times out of 3. But sometimes the once you start racking up more money, I've noticed it does start getting harder. So they will start when you make bigger. I have also noticed if you make a bigger bet, sometimes it will like give you the easiest hand to win if you know what you're doing. So it's interesting how I've often wondered how they programmed it. I couldn't really find much in terms of information. I would love to contact the people in the credits maybe and see like how did you guys do it, because it's interesting that you're replicating something that is purely chance in real life, but it's now a computer program. So obviously the player must have some sort of edge. But like I said, there is no point to this game. There's no objective. I know in Vegas Stakes, this game, you actually do have to win $1 million and then you win. Like you win the game. But once again, I wish I knew how it worked, but I have noticed when I played blackjack in Caesar's Palace, if you know what you're doing, you will start winning. And because why would they make you just lose? You're just losing fake money anyway. Yeah, I think that's the other thing too. It's mostly advertisement. Don't forget, this is the late '80s, early '90s. It's a very spectacular era of the decadence. I know they really wanted families to come to Las Vegas around this time. They were building theme parks and all these other like family style attractions in Las Vegas around this time. So this might have actually been a big push to free lip service for casinos in Las Vegas, and not to mention Atlantic City, where I'm nearby. Yeah.
So I noticed, like, you stopped at the sports book, so like,
Mm-hmm.
I personally think we've gone a little bit further than that.
Yeah.
With like Kalshi and Poly Market.
Oh yeah, like betting on just regular things. Yes. That's purely evil. That's insane. Yeah, and I feel like you're so right. Like I said, it's a portal to hell. Like you should not be doing that. I think, not to be a little political, but that should be illegal. I do think. But people are going to do what they're going to do, right? Yes, right in the front.
Kind of some other aspects that I think really contributed to that big shift in the 2010s.
Uh-huh.
Is the rise of streaming and also in-game economies.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
at that time, the amount of content creators I saw online who were gambling, reporting themselves rolling CS:GO crates.
Yeah.
I just made $2,000 off this roll.
Yeah.
It's providing a really impressionable like youth audience with the idea that
Yeah.
I play CS:GO, it's free to play. I have some crates sitting there.
Yeah.
What if I have this money waiting? So it does, in a way, it is just straight up gambling because you can sell it for real money.
Yeah, and I admittedly don't know too much about the CS:GO shenanigans that happen, but the selling things you get in the loot boxes for real money also smacks of this. And if you didn't hear what he was saying, he was talking about the rise of streaming and streamers doing this on Twitch. And kind of like I would say it's kind of like glamorizing a little bit. Like I said, it's romanticizing it, which is why the imagery is always glitz and glamour and fame and fortune, right? It's interesting. Yes.
Same thing of like doing card pools, like for Magic or Pokemon.
Ooh,
or streaming,
yeah.
Like having a fancy set of stream of like, oh, like do card pools.
Yeah. It's popular, and you know what? It's that for kind of like that. I would say that's pretty cool, but it's like that knowledge of just like maybe like keep it in moderation, right? Red shirt.
Little gambling adjacent but not these. I think it's really interesting how gotcha games occupy
Yep.
like kind of a separate grouping because a lot of these gambling is very money motivated. And I know just in my experience, the people around me are very kind of like less money motivated and they kind of gambling, like why would I bother that? So in come gotcha games when they go, hey, look at these characters, look at this story, look at these interesting things. Now, oh, don't you want this character? It's here for 2 weeks. You have 0.1% chance. The amount of
Yep.
fail on those characters, like I never, like I went to a casino once, didn't do anything for
Nope.
me. I got really into one game and
Yeah.
multiple hundreds of dollars went down at my worst point.
Oh,
One
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm just saying it's.
That is like they capture like a completely
Yup.
different group of people that this
Yup.
doesn't get.
And for those who didn't hear, he talking about gotcha and how it's like, well, if you don't want to bet money, that's fine, but maybe you wanted to bet on this character and maybe get that right, or this costume upgrade, and that's also interesting that it's kind of like the same thing. All the way in the back with the pointy ears. Yeah.
Something I also wanted to comment is that I know that around the 2010s, I was not necessarily into console gaming. I was into like the guy online and the Neopets and all that stuff. So I have a strong recollection of learning how to play blackjack in a lot of those mini games.
In Neopets, right? Yep.
Collectibles.
My wife loves Neopets.
Just gambling to get
Yup.
your random
Mm-hmm.
rolls for that.
Yeah. That. Man, I forgot about Neopets, man. That's who played Neopets as a kid. Okay, there you go. So we were inundated, right? It's almost like it was meant to be, right? But Neopets is pretty cool. I like that one. But it is also interesting that they have their own economy, but it's more of a stress on like you do want to save the money here. Like you can play a game for more, but they stress more of like money saving or like stock trading, right? Like there's a stock market there. So that's like, that'd be crazy. That would be a cool indie game to bring back up too. Green shirt right in the back.
Electronic games in casinos have very set rules not to do some dirty tricks.
Mm-hmm.
Classic one is to have you only lose by a little bit, thinking that you can do better.
Yes.
There's Las Vegas, Nevada, New Jersey, both have laws to restrict these. And that's just
Yeah.
a whole mess of rules they have.
Uh-huh.
Electronic games. But software games that you find online or you buy as an app don't seem to have those rules.
Yeah.
Any discussion about changing that or enforcing it? Because that is one of the things that makes it incredibly addicting is to do these tricks. And they're well established, well known.
Yes.
They have to list the odds now.
What's that?
That's a requirement for them to actually list the odds. You might have to search to find it.
Oh wow. Now.
I always look at tweaking. They're tweaking the experience. If the odds are 1 to 100 and I get 98, I'm more likely to play again than if I got 10.
Huh.
It's a psychological difference.
Yeah.
And Las Vegas has already recognized this.
I will say this. You're reminding me of this video I saw of a slot machine that I think Konami came out with called Dracula. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but there's a YouTuber out there that played Dracula and won like $15,000 doing it. But every time they would like you'd play slots, and if you get a specific red diamond, they would spin the wheel, and every single time it would be one short of winning the jackpot, which I'm just like, that's insane because that just has to be programmed in there, right? But that's interesting. I knew they had extremely strict laws for the video stuff that they, like I said, the odds have to be a very specific thing. I think also round one does that too. I think I saw a few hands. You want to say something else?
Just something interesting about any type of gaming chance that is digital is that there's literally no way for a computer to generate a truly random number.
Yes.
They can get close, sure, but something in there is not random. Now, how not random it is, maybe they're doing the good thing where it's really random, but they can just as easily do, messy shit in the back. So the physical games could be rigged physically, but the digital can never be truly random.
I love the philosophical ramifications of that. Wait, yeah.
Our extent that a deck of cards can generate a random number, but a computer can't.
Wait, a deck of cards?
Yeah, like you're saying that that's going to generate something truly random. Like if the computer can't be random, then I don't think a deck of cards will be truly random.
Well, I guess the philosophical thing is like a computer can only do so much randomness, but I think it's kind of like that's like a whole esoteric thing of like, to us it looks random, but in the grand scheme of things maybe it isn't random, and I guess that's like a whole like that's a philosophical quandary for computer science people, I guess. Yeah.
And basically, the computer's a logical machine, so it really doesn't understand the concept of randomness, because you're literally just pulling a number out of thin air, right? That's something
Yeah.
like conscious people are able to do. But if you have something that's running on ones and zeros, it has to algorithmically have a way of
Well, it's practically, yes. Like, if you kept having something, it would. It's imperceptible to us, I guess.
The most common way to get that nowadays is when you turn the machine on, you find out the microsecond you turned it on, it uses that as a factor in the seed. The fact that it turned on a different microsecond from another machine, in all purposes, makes it human random.
Yeah, I think we just can't perceive that level of random. To us, it would look, wow, random. Isn't there that one statistic, or it's like a factoid or something that's like, if you shuffle a random deck of cards, you're the first person to do that exact sequence. So that's crazy. And that's like 52 factorial, which is like some insane number. And I am not a math major. I am an English major who is a mailman.
It's a mind game.
Yeah.
Shuffle a deck 15 times, it's absolutely random.
Yes.
So what happens if you do it a 16th time? Would you just make it less random or more random? There's no such thing. So
Interesting. It's kind of like, I guess it's if it looks random, it's random, and I guess that's where the problem is with these online things, that where it's like it's a chance, but there's somewhere in these bits and bytes it might be a little bit of fudging, I guess.
you know where most of the random numbers on the internet are generated?
I have no idea.
There's this one company that has a couple hundred lava lamps on the wall running.
What?
I'm not kidding.
100 lava lamps.
Lava lamps, and they have video cameras pointed at the lava lamps, and they use the fluid motion of the lava lamps to generate random numbers. Look it up.
That sounds pretty random to me, I guess. That's like fluid dynamics or something, so it could be very random. But then someone's going to be like, well, I know which way the glob's going to go now. If it does a little gleep, it will gloop it. How about we do one more? You. Cloudfire? Oh, Cloudflare. Not Media Shark. Sorry, I was thinking of something. I was thinking of an old MP3 streaming thing. You know what? I'll give you the last one, and then we can start wrapping up. Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure I'm not in the middle of the super intense discussion.
I like discussion. I used to be a teacher, so I'm used to this.
All right, yeah, so I'm going to pivot to the apps.
Uh-huh.
I'm curious about your experience since you're from
Delaware.
Delaware, okay, right on.
Yeah.
So I know that, because you said Philly area, so I know that like Pennsylvania,
Mm-hmm.
online legal sports books, but then they also have like the online legal casinos.
Yes.
Virginia,
Yep.
where I live,
Mhm.
is online sports books, but you have to go in person for a casino.
Yeah.
So I was talking to one of my buddies, and I was like, I feel like if they legalized online casinos in Virginia, I would be like on that. But apparently what he was saying is that a lot of folks get kind of just like, the folks who aren't problem gamblers, like just
Mhm.
recreationally, tend to just get desensitized to that. I don't know, as someone from that area, if you've seen that, or if it's more like people are hooked on it.
So I believe, I don't know anybody that does have a problem with this, but I read a lot about people who do, and it's incredibly tragic. I know New Jersey has legal online betting, but you have to be in the state of New Jersey. So in Delaware, at least, we just get the ads. And it's crazy because every time I feel like I turn on cable TV, it's nothing but these things. And it's very famous celebrities doing it. Like I saw one with Megan Thee Stallion in it. I saw one with Kevin Hart in it. And it's just like they're getting big names. So it's kind of like it's a big thing. It's coming to be a really big like money-making racket, right? So it's kind of like when it's now it's in your pocket, it just seems so scummy to me that now it's just a little bit easier for companies like this to just swipe it away, which, like I said, knowledge. I'm sure, there's a lot of things we can do in moderation here, drinking, smoking, right? So it's just like another vice, right? But like I said, that's why I have this up here, because I'm trying to be a little bit mindful that I do not care if you gamble. It doesn't make an impact on me, but I do like knowledge, and I think knowledge is power. So just keep that in mind whenever you see an ad for that, or if you're playing a video game and you see a mechanic that's kind of like that. Are we at time? I guess we're at like 5 minutes. So I'm going to wrap it up right now. Thank you so much. I love stimulating debate and discussion. My name is Nick. This is my online handle if you'd like to follow me. So thank you very much. You were also very kind. I love discussion like this. And I just got done doing 2 panels in a row, and I'm ready to party. So I'm gonna get wrapped up. Thank you. Hope you had fun. No, we're not going to MGM now. No.